hold you at 15. That's we're gonna give you 3 walk-ons, and just do a quick inventory in your mind.
I'm thinking about it.
Right?
I'm thinking about
Like you can throw people under the bus that can take a joke. You don't have to, but you know what I'm saying. Like do you know anybody that just in a funny way would have just said something that would have insinuated they were transferring? Because I had guys that were transferring every other day, through my entire tenure.
Man, let me just put it like this. Social media would not have survived Clifford Rozier.
Right.
Cliff would have been out of, if he didn't have the numbers that he wanted. I'm out of here.
Right.
And I'm putting it on social media.
Right. Just I mean, it's fascinating to just superimpose social media on a but I didn't want to get too far off the subject because this is still an important conversation.
Yes.
And here's what I do when I say Russ Yeast. I have to compartmentalize my empathy for the player, my empathy towards a program, and the way we consume it.
Right.
Because we're in social media. You and I both know the better story is 5-star super recruit Russ Yeast is saying enough of the program, right? That's a good, salacious version of the program in distress, right?
Absolutely.
But there's other versions. Another version says, Russ Yeast, I've read social media. This fan base has been killing Russ Yeast for the last 2 years straight,
Yeah.
right? I will go to your social media right now that has 4-star Under Armour All-American Russ Yeast is transferring. Oh, what are we gonna? He's losing another one, and I will physically scroll back 2 years under somebody's timeline, and somebody saying, "Well, he is not his dad." Right?
Right.
What is Russ Yeast doing out there? Why do we have him on the punt return? Why do we have him on the kick return? Russ Yeast is garbage. Physically, the same person will not acknowledge that Russ Yeast has been getting exposed for quite a while.
Correct.
But that's not a good story. Like Russ Yeast not having played since the Western Kentucky game or Indiana State game. That's not a good story.
Right.
Russ Yeast needing to develop and being disappointed that he didn't perform. Russ Yeast, I could argue, has had more opportunity to succeed at Louisville. I could argue Russ Yeast has been the reason other players have felt slighted by the University of Louisville. Russ Yeast's name, right, has had him in conversations, over some other equally talented recruits. You know what I'm saying? Like he
Right.
came in with more opportunity. Some guys were just like, I know some guys on that team are calling home like, yeah, he's a local guy. You know what I'm saying? They love him for some reason. I think his parent, his dad might have been. Yeah, right. Like you can guarantee that's not a good story because you're like, of course he's transferring. And it's always what irritates you is that situation where a guy has this opportunity, doesn't perform, and then says, I'm transferring.
But on the flip side, you got the Russ Yeast apologists who would say that they haven't used him right.
Right.
They haven't put him in the right system.
Right.
This is the third coordinator or second coordinator he's been under, so they haven't found the right spot for him.
Right.
So they'll say that it's an indictment on the coaching staff more so than the player itself.
Right. And listen, this is a figure 8 conversation, and I'm having this conversation with Steve Rummage this morning about if you were going to pick a position, if you were going to pick 3 positions on a football field, right, that really don't matter about the coaches, right? If you want to pick 3 positions, it would probably be wide receiver, running back, maybe, and
D-back.
and defensive back. You're out there on an island. We're talking about speed, technique, feel for the game, island. That's not the position where you're like, okay, you're not getting enough pressure on the defensive end, and you're not in a blitz. You're not in a bunch of exotic blitz packages. You're out there guarding somebody, and you gave up a Wake Forest 332-yard game to a wide receiver.
Right.
And I'm not killing them. I'm not bashing them. I'm just saying Philly call. Philly, what's going on? Thanks for joining us on 939. Fire away.
Man, I didn't think you was coming in today, man. Man, yeah, they told me I knew Steve Rummels was on suicide watch, and I thought you'd be over there watching.
No,
So I didn't think you was coming in.
no, we do have an abbreviated show. I'm joining a get out and vote caravan. So, yep, I'll be off to do
Oh,
that a little
well,
earlier.
man, good luck, Durham, man. We was there to 97 to beat, man, so we had a good time that night, man. And then you was up at my wife's school. She's a bookkeeper at Duval. So everybody I
Okay.
know, I done told vote for Durham Webb. Because, a lot of times we're not familiar with these candidates on these voting cards, man. But everybody I know, as far as in the comedian community, the promoters, and we all voting Durham Webb. I just left the poll, so everybody's voting Durham Webb, man. So good luck.
Man, I truly appreciate that. Thank you so much.
No doubt, Darren. That's all I wanted, Marcus. Man, I just had to jump in there because I know Steve is home with a blanket on and holding his Louisville cup. And I said, Marcus has probably got to watch him.
Wait.
Jump on the second street breeze.
Listen, let me ask you this, Carl. Do you believe it's Cowboy centric, or is he really just a little sick today?
No, it's Cowboys. Just watching that last night as a Cowboys fan, he probably wanted to kill himself. Just watching that game.
Carl, I appreciate the call, my man. So here's the thing. Which side do you lean on, as like I said, as just neutral observer, when you hear the Russ Yeast part of this? Because like I said, I think we're on the same page with the Jordan Travis. Like, the biggest indictment, I don't listen to what they're saying on an exit. Like, I know you're going to have a story that makes you look like the victim and the program doing something to you. You want your exit to be justified.
Correct.
And it's a nightmare if you leave and they flourish. You know what I'm saying? So we'll keep it more the local, the Rusty, the newest news.
Right.
Does it just play well to the community that wants a Bobby Petrino gone, and that's like pretty much what this is?
I think it does, to be honest with you. If you look at, we talked about the different positions that you don't need much coaching.
Right. You need work and
You
dog.
need work.
Yeah.
You need
Aggression.
some athletic ability to go along with it.
Right.
In that one particular position, I'm just going to say this.
And that might be the number one position that it doesn't matter.
It
what
really
system
does.
you're
It's
in.
like,
My
okay,
God.
you could miss camp. You could miss practice every day.
I just asked Darrell Revis and Deion Sanders, and those guys would jump from team. I shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't have picked the best of all that. But you can recognize a cornerback who just has it immediately. Jair Alexander.
That's what I was just about to say.
Right.
Yes. Jared could have missed 10 games. The 11th game, no practice. Gets in, okay, Jared, your one responsibility is to check this guy and take him out. Okay, it'll be 11 on 10. Just keep this guy out of the game.
Yes.
That's your one responsibility. I don't care about anything else.
It's 10 on 10 now.
Yeah, 10 on 10.
Right.
Yeah, it's just your one responsibility. You have one job.
Right.
Shut this guy down. That's all you got to do.
And that's what he was supposed to be.
Absolutely.
So with this conversation, would you just say this is not the one the community should rally around?
Yeah, I would try and find something else.
Okay, well let's move up the ladder a little
Okay.
bit. Okay, so the conversation has been Bobby Petrino. What do you think as far as the handling of it? The handling of it from his end, the handling of it from a Vince Tyree, being a former assistant athletic director yourself. Like, is there anything about the way this thing has played out that you think it has been a misstep? Because here's the thing, and just so you know where I come from on this one. At this point, I am happy that I waited to let him earn this poor season. Because coming into the thing, coming in, I have to listen to people say we can't handle another 8-9 win season, and I have to take that call, and I have to say, listen, a bowl game when you lose to Clemson and then you lose to LSU in the bowl game, and you get one other random upset where some team just has it. I'm like, you're gonna get that.
Dude, 8 or 9 wins sounds pretty good.
Right, right now, because and it's one of those things, you need this season to realize The teams that are supposed to, that are all like having the season of their lives are like at 7, 6, and 7.
Right.
You know,
But let me say this. One thing that bothers me about our fan base at times is that we always want to talk about the 9, 10 win seasons that we had in Conference USA or the Big East or the AAC. This is a Power 5 conference now. Clemson.
every
It's
team.
Florida State. It's Wake Forest.
I know.
I'm sorry. I
But
hate to
isn't
say it.
Wake Forest due like? Here's the thing too. When you say Power 5, it's not just Power 5 sports. To get a Wake Forest, Boston College, Syracuse scholarship is a life-altering thing, right? So these
Right.
are the creme de la creme of academic scholarships or athletic scholarships because they're educations that are creme de la creme when you're in the ACC, right? You get recruits that are the best of the best
Right.
at Wake Forest,
Right.
at Syracuse, like
Right.
like we see at Syracuse as their football's no good, but they get recruits from New Jersey that were, all whatever,
All New Jersey.
right?
But it goes back. You remember Coach Jones. Coach Jones used to always talk about it doesn't matter who you play, because they have scholarship athletes too. Doesn't matter what's on the front of your jersey. Eventually, it may be what's on the back of your jersey, because if you don't come out and perform to play, that guy across from you is going to beat you. So they have scholarship players just like us, and it doesn't mean that they are less talented than us just because they go to a different school that
Right.
doesn't say Louisville on the
Right.
front.
Yeah, no, it was my argument with Dwayne Sutton. You go somewhere, you win a conference MVP, if you win a tournament MVP, that guy can play on any team on the planet.
Right.
If you can do that. Okay, so here's the thing. The feeling, the narrative. I think we had a clip on Bobby Petrino and how he felt about the effort he was getting, because we've watched the game and I think everybody's seeing the same thing. I'm glad he was actually asked about that. You got that on deck, Ryan?
I didn't feel like they just gave in. The defensive front was working hard to try to get their hands and get in the right position. The linebackers got covered up by their guards and tackles, and we weren't able to get the right angles by our safeties to get the plays. So, but certainly it's hard when you're giving up that many points. That's something that we're not used to doing.
I can't tell you how much I disagree with what I saw. I feel like Bobby Petrino sounds like me when I'm in the middle of a game talking to you and you've identified a problem that I refuse to accept as a problem until he overly proves that that's a problem. What did you think about that?
I guess my question is, what else is he supposed to say? As a coach, knowing what he's going up against right now, what else is he supposed to say?
Is he talking to? Here's the thing. He's talking to the media. Is he talking to his team right now? Is he trying to? Is he keeping that off of the media circuit, talking to his team?
I don't know if he's talking to his team.
Because
or if he's talking-
we do give coaches credit for saying they feel like when they go to the media, they're talking to their team through the media.
Let me tell you this. I don't know if he's talking to the team as much as he's talking to his fan base, his supporters. And the reason why I say that is because everyone is on him. And he may be sending a message to his team per se, but if you send that message to your team, you got to turn around and look at yourself
So
too.
you think that was more about just putting the message out there that they haven't given up, even if he thought they did?
I think he's trying to say everything possible to have a good spin on it, because if I look at that team, if I look at the game the way I've looked at it the past couple of weeks, I can't say that someone gave up 60, 70 points and they didn't give up. I'm
Right.
just telling you how it looks for me.
And here's the thing. I've been critical of Bobby Petrino for being critical of his defense, right?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't like in the Florida State game when you made that call. Florida State drives it down, they win the game. That was 100% your call. Your offense did not execute the call you made. You took the gamble. Within the first 3 sentences, he says, well, you still got to stop him.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think that was the place. I didn't think that was the time. With that being said, you get no pass from me for what you did. For what you did in that Florida State game.
Right.
This has hands down been the worst defensive football team I've ever seen in my life. So at what point is he allowed to say, that that was that. And listen, all jokes aside, and all comments aside, that is the worst defense I've ever seen on a Division I football field in my life.
Let me say this. This is kind of bad because we had this conversation last year with Peter Sumner.
Who?
Recruiting coach.
Would you feel better if he said, "I don't touch the defense"?
Yes, I would feel better if he said something
Is he
like that.
allowed to say that?
I don't know if he's allowed to say that because at the end of the day, it's his team. So anybody that's answering to him, it's still his team. So he's responsible.
I still don't like that because these kids.
I don't like it
You're
either.
right. These kids in these schools, and I'm like, what are your parents doing? But it turns into the kids and it turns into the teachers. You know, so if I can't say what are your parents doing, then I can't say what is Bobby Petrino doing when I know he has no idea. I mean, not that he. I mean, he's entrusting.
Well, okay. What I do every day, I listen to problems going in and out of the court, children and
This
families.
is awesome
So
perspective.
I listen to that. So if I have a kid that's not going to school and not doing what he's supposed to do in school, you have to ask a question. Okay, mom and dad, what do you know?
But do you ask him what school he goes to? Is that important?
Yeah, that's important. It's important.
Because it's like if he doesn't like financially, if he doesn't belong in that school, or he doesn't feel like he belongs in that school. You know, the word I wanted to use is you know, not financially, but the overall word demographic.
Well, I understand what you're saying, but at the end of the day, mom and dad are responsible for the actions of the kid. Now, the kid may not be going to school, may have some issues, so you ask yourself the question, okay, mom and dad, what are you doing to address the issues that your kids have?
Right.
So if he's not going to school, are you taking him to school? Are you getting him up on time? Are you doing everything that you can? So if you can't be accountable to the things you're responsible for, and you want to pass it out, well, that's just a kid, what kind of parent are you? So I'm going to go to our coaching staff. If you blame the kids all the time, or if you blame other coaches, and you cannot accept responsibility for yourself, are you actually being the person that is really responsible for the overall team and the overall performance of the team?
So he needs to learn more about his defense.
I would say yes.
That's that's a good point. Listen, we never really go that far with it, but at some point, dude, you're not allowed to just hide behind the shield of I only coach offense,
Right.
or we'll get somebody who does them both.
And how many coordinators have we had 3 years now?
That's where you get in trouble.
I think with what y'all talking about, once this clip, he talks about his defense a little bit in this and just not having the eye in the second half.
Quick call. I hit the button already. Lawrence, thanks for joining us on 93.9, my man. What's on your mind?
What's up, Marcus, man?
Chilling.
After last year, don't you think Bobby would have paid more attention to the defense this year? I'm just saying. Also, the thing I'm getting tired, really getting tired of is players decommitting, players leaving this program. That's the thing I'm getting tired of. I keep taking young players leaving the program.
Yeah. No, listen, Lawrence. Listen, I appreciate the call. That part. I don't want to say that's fake news because anytime you have uncertainty at a school, like you're going to get that decommit. You're going to get that unhappy because you got to think there is nothing more in a diva part of your life than when you were being recruited. Like have you ever been more arrogant in your life than going through the recruiting process ever?
That's an awesome period. It really is.
Right? Like, think about that. Think about, I just want you to just really think about this. Grown men, adult men, 55-year-old men are at your beck and call for at least 500 days of your life. The second half of your junior year and your entire senior year up until the day you commit to going to a university, you have their teachers at your beck and call. You have the attention of the opposite sex or same sex or whatever. Your sexual urges, are identified a lot quicker in this part of your life. I mean, all these things are at your beck and call. So, finicky young man recruit is not
look in their eye wasn't what you wanted to see from them. So we've addressed that, and they came out and practiced, hard today. But that was they didn't have the right look in their eye in the second half, and it's hard.
The problem with that is if you say first time, that was not the first time, right? And I know that could be protecting the narrative, but it's one of those things like if you could point out defensive issues in the Florida State game.
You by the way, people, we are Made for the Ville, the YouTube channel. If you can point out defensive issues against the Florida State team, I mean, it's like one of those, don't get squeamish now. Like, say that that's been a problem all year. Outside of the Alabama game. First half of the Alabama game. Well, actually, I thought against Alabama, they still fought hard. They got run over by a superior team, but they were there. They were willing to get hurt in sacrifice of the team. Like I did see that in that Alabama game. But since, basically since then, I didn't see guys willing to get hurt against Indiana State, against Western, and it kind of went from there. So it kind of makes me uncomfortable with him saying that's the first time he's seen a defeated defense.
But you're towards the end of the season. What's he supposed to say? Is he going to say it's the first time? I mean, he's going to say, I've been seeing this all season, because if he says, I've been seeing it all season, that's an indictment on him. It's an indictment on the guy that he brought in to coach these kids on that defense. So I don't know if he can use it. He can't really say anything other than what he's saying right now. And he's going to have to ride this narrative out to the end of the season.
Former assistant athletic director Derwin Webb hypothetically give Vince Tyree, let people behind the curtain right now of a hypothetical scenario, and then give advice from your hypothetical scenario on how do you move the football team forward. I've given you the 100% disclaimer that this is all hypothetical. Nothing you're saying is coming from what's going on right now in reality. This is just, you're writing a fictional book on how to.
If I am the athletic director, I'm constantly trying to figure out what my next move is. Even if things are going good. Even if things are great, you always have to prepare for the worst.
Always.
Because someone could say, I'm going somewhere else.
So hypothetically, a Vince Tyree has been so far ahead of this, you can't imagine as a fan base how far ahead of this he was.
Well, he has to look at a lot of different things. He has to look at wins and losses. He has to look at the recruits that are coming in to a program like this right now. Mm-hmm. He has to look at the fan base. He has to look at who's coming in and out of those stands.
But he was doing that. You would say he was doing that in the summer.
He was doing that in the summer because everything was great in the summer.
Mm-hmm.
But he's really doing it now because you go to a homecoming game, you look in the stands in the second quarter, and it's not even a fourth of the way filled.
To be fair, homecomings are never like your draw at Louisville.
Really?
Homecomings have never been a draw at Louisville. I would venture to say homecomings at Louisville for the last 20 years are like some of the least attended games in history.
Did you see the snapshot of the stands for homecoming?
No, I'm saying it was bad, but compared to last year, probably 5,000 difference.
Really? On paper?
Yes.
Because I was at homecoming last year, and I looked at homecoming this year. Yeah, it's
I just never thought homecomings
maybe
were
5,000.
See, but here's the thing. I think yeah, but that irritated me because I always make the argument Wake Forest doesn't bring fans no matter what year, even with a Heisman Trophy. Homecoming here, Teddy Bridgewater homecoming, as well as beloved as he is, if it's Syracuse, Wake, or BC. Fans are just not coming. So I don't like using homecoming as your example.
Okay, let me ask you.
But overall, your attendance point is perfect.
Okay, let me ask the question then. What else was going on at noon on that Saturday in the city that prevented people from coming out?
It was supposed to rain real bad, too.
Did it rain, though?
No.
No, it didn't rain. I've been at games where it was supposed to rain. Actually, when it was raining, and you had people not wanting to leave.
That was Kentucky, though, Derwin. That was
the
Florida State.
on the field.
Right.
So
no, it's a poor product. Like
it's.
Yeah, I'm not arguing against you. I just want to tame the narrative sometimes that, that it went from monster crowds on homecoming to, to empty. You know what I'm saying? But okay, back to AD situation.
So I'm evaluating everything. I'm evaluating, okay, I just built this addition to the stadium, and I got to put butts and seats in the stadium. I'm looking at attendance every week, and it seems like it's dwindling each week. So if you're having a product on the field that people are not appreciating, and it doesn't seem like it's getting better, what do you do to make things better? The definition of insanity is doing things over and over, thinking you're going to get a different result.
Like new coordinators.
So if you are continuing to do the same thing and you're getting the same result.
So a staff change would be considered insanity.
You have to consider. I'm not going to say he's going to do that.
Right.
But you have to look at things that are going to make your program the best it can possibly be, the best representation of itself. If you don't have those pieces in place that make it the best representation of itself, you have to make a change because you have revenue that you are losing. You have a fan base that you're losing. You're losing a lot.
The battle of the hearts and minds of these young 10-year-olds, 12-year-olds, 13-year-olds. Your fan base is getting scared away from the University of Louisville, which is always my concern. Okay, so moving forward, contingency plan. You don't get Jeff Brown.
Question is, who else is out there? You got to look at a couple different things with this. You have to look at a multi-million-dollar buyout. You have to also look at, if you don't buy them out, how much money you could lose by bringing them back. So that you have to look at who's available. Do you have that hot coordinator?
How's the back channel process work without snitching?
You're asking me to tell some secrets.
No. Never mind.
No.
Okay.
No.
How prevalent do you think a back channel thing?
It's prevalent. It's always prevalent because you would never have an AD say that, especially during the season or while a coach is in place, that we have been talking to such and such.
Is that illegal? Is that is that considered NCAA tampering or something to talk to someone's agent?
I don't think it is.
Is it ethically wrong to talk to an agent?
Ethically, no, it's not wrong to talk to someone's agent.
Right.
But at the same time, that agent is still representing the client.
Uh-huh.
For example, if someone said to Jeff Brown, what do you think about the Louisville job?
Right.
Jeff can honestly say with plausible deniability, I've never spoken to the University of Louisville.
Right.
Now, his guy may be doing some back channel negotiation.
Right.
But he may be doing it on his behalf without even telling him.
So when you say negotiation, is that when you start to lose your ethical, fair ground? Because if I'm a Vince Tyree and I call his agent and invite him to dinner, so you're saying that would be like that's on the up and up.
Yeah, it is on the up and up. But I will tell you this: I am going to do everything I possibly can for the betterment of my program. Not the betterment of a specific individual, but the betterment of the program. I'm going to do everything ethically to make sure that this program is where it needs to be, not only for this year, not for next year. You're talking about for years down the road, because when you plan things, you don't plan things just for the next season.
Right.
You plan things for years down the road as well. So if I'm looking at this situation right now, looking at the product on the field, thinking that it can't get too much better, thinking that it may be a young team, but you have to make a lot of different evaluations to go along with it. But at the end of the day, you have players leaving the program as well because of a quote-unquote culture that they're feeling right now.
Do you listen to the players describe the culture if you're AD?
I do, because you need to know if you're not going to be at practice every day, if you're not going to be on the inside understanding what's going on every day, you have to listen to the players that are there. Now, you also have to take into consideration
that they're
17, 18, 19 years old. They're disgruntled. They're going to say things that are not in the best interest of the person that may be in charge of them.
Right.
But you're listening to this from a 17, 18-year-old slant about how things could be. So what do you do? You go to a player that hasn't really talked a whole lot. Hey, Marcus, I know you're not playing a whole lot now.
Right.
But how do you think things are going?
Right. Or go to a happy player.
Yeah.
Go to a happy player and juxtapose, what, because a happy guy and an angry guy, some stories are going to line up.
Right.
The extremes are going to be one thing, but they're going to tell the truth somewhere in the middle where you find out some details that align.
I agree.
Angry guy says they don't do this good. Even happy guy says, I wish they would do better at this spot. So now you have a focal point, kind of a cross section. Let me get to this phone line. Dana, thanks for joining us on 93.9. Fire away. Great. Well, let me ask you this. Right.
The games. Me personally, I would go just because I'm a football fan and I'm a U of L fan. The majority of Louisville's fan base is not that base.
Listen, Dana, I appreciate the call. I mean, according to this call, I mean, it kind of sounds like, he's saying that basically the product isn't a representation of the attendance, which I can kind of make that argument sometimes, but I still think there's not a suitable enough product on the field to kind of justify that little of
You know
attendance.
what he kind of said?
I'm listening.
He kind of said, we're not Alabama. We're not Texas. That's kind of what he said. He kind of said that because we don't have the tradition of those programs where it doesn't matter what their season's looking like. They're going to come out anyway. You're from Tennessee.
Indeed.
Tennessee has a stadium of 105,000.
102,455.
102,455. Is
The
it
exact number.
is it sold out just about every game, no matter what? I know you had the who was your last coach?
It's Butch Jones. It was close to it, man.
That's what I'm saying.
It's close to it. There's nothing you can do about that.
Right. So I guess the question is,
That party deck has a way of making a lot of places seem emptier at the time too. You're looking at your clock a lot. You got a few more minutes to.
I got some minutes. Yeah.
Yeah, because we want to ask what's going on with Derwin the adult here in a second. Let's play out the top of this hour. I'm going to get to the text message. 3831 939 is the text line. We're gonna fix a couple problems. We're gonna cure a couple polio diseases here. No, we're not really gonna do that. But quick commercial break. Midday with Marcus Maben. 8150 939 is the number on 939 The Ville.
No other jeweler in Louisville.
3705 Bardstown Road. Check out their inventory at Globe Autos online. Oh, and be sure to tell them you're a friend of 93.9 The Ville.
An official broadcast partner of the University of Louisville, WLCL Sellersburg is 93.9 The Ville. Time now for an ESPN Louisville Sports Center update.
Good morning, I'm Brian Hall.
This is Marcus Maven, and you're listening to 93.
Dump that. I have no idea what that was.
This is Studio.
Luckily, I had my dump button ready. Something edited in it.
You're listening to Middays with Marcus Maben, broadcasting live from the OPC Pest Services studio on 93.9 The Ville. Now, here's Marcus Maben and Steve Rummage.
Welcome back. It's Midday with Marcus Maven. 8150 93.9 is the number. 93.9 is the station. People, when Steve Rummage is not able to be in the building, it is an absolute pleasure and honor. See what I did there? Honor. To have Judge Derwin Webb in here filling. So Judge Derwin Webb. Judge Derwin Webb, what's going on with your life outside of the radio booth?
Man, just trying to make a difference for people in this community. That's all I ever do. I wake up every morning, go to my job, listen to people, listen to their problems.
What do you do for a living? You're a counselor?
Well, kinda.
Oh, I'm listening.
I'm a judge.
You are a judge.
Family court judge.
So you talk to counselors.
I talk to counselors. I listen to counselors. I listen to people that have situations and issues that they can't resolve on their own, and I try to help them leave in a better state.
How long have you been a judge?
Been a judge for about a year now. A little more than a year.
And is that like a recyclable job? I mean, how, do you have a contract to be a judge long term?
Well, I appreciate you asking me that, because my contract is with the people. Every 4 years, I got a chance. Well, actually, every 8 years. But for this reason, for this purpose, I get voted on, and people will vote me into office, and I will be on this seat for another 8 years, hopefully.
Wait a minute. You're in a contract year or day?
Contract day. Today is the day. Today is a contract day.
What are you doing sitting here with me if today's a contract day?
You know what?
You have an 8-year contract on the line, and you're sitting here doing Midday with Marcus Maben?
Well, I'll tell you this. I have worked every day since I've been in this position. I've gone out. I've knocked on doors. I've gone to events. I wanted to let people know who I was. At this point
and people say you've done a great job so far.
Thank you. I've heard some great comments, but I'll tell you this. Like I said, I love my job, so I do the best I can. It was like when I was a student athlete, gave all you could while you were out there, and that's what I've done while I've been on the bench. So why am I here today? There's nothing more I can do. I went out this morning. I cast a vote for myself.
You're not allowed to discuss who you vote for, are you?
Well, if I'm talking about myself, I think I can. Well,
I don't know the rules.
I'm asking. Hypothetically,
right.
If I was going to vote for someone,
you would vote for Judge.
You would have to vote for the person that has the most experience, and who
you feel is most
qualified, who received a whole lot of endorsements, and based upon those factors and who other people would think is the best candidate, I would vote for that person. So I can't say who I voted for, but I would tell you I would vote for the person that had the best experience and felt like that person could be the best on the bench for the people that he serves. He or she serves.
8-year contract. How do you improve on that over the course of 8 years?
How do you improve on it?
Yes.
What do you mean?
As far as a judge, every day I know you, and I know you think about a conversation that would happen last week, a judgment you make, a decision you make. Obviously, being in the courtroom makes you better at your job.
Correct.
Right? But there's still that film watcher. There's still that, that perfectionist that I know you have in you.
Right.
Like moving forward, how could you become better at your job?
Well, there's something they call CLEs, continuing legal education requirements.
Uh-huh.
I will still do those. I'm required to do those because it's mandatory. I would do other things specifically relating to family court issues. I'll do that on my own. So I may go to a seminar just to get little intricacies that I can use.
You really do love this thing, don't you?
Absolutely. It's the best job I've ever had. I've had an opportunity to be a lawyer for close to 20 years. I've worked in district court, family court, federal court, circuit court. I've worked in Indiana. I've worked in Kentucky. I've done a lot of different things. So, I can honestly say anytime something comes across my desk,
right,
I know how to handle it because I've done it before. But personally, I've been a foster parent. So you see the issues that come into your courtroom. You know that being a foster parent, you had an opportunity to deal with those things yourself. I've adopted a child. So being a family court judge is not only professionally the greatest thing, but personally it is too, because I can empathize with the people that I see in court because I've been in their situation before.
Your foster parenting happened way before Judge Derwin Webb.
Right.
Like how many years ago was that? Just because I like to pull back these curtains on who you are just to know. I was giving you a hard time about not looking in the camera. That was the one thing that kind of looked a little, a commercial, you know what I'm saying? But everything else has been so sincere with you, that I'd hope people would know that your foster care is not like
it's not recent.
Right. You weren't doing that for the job.
Let me say this. Without knowing it, I have been preparing for this position all my life.
Right.
When we were student athletes at the University of Louisville, Coach Crum would have us going out to the community talking to kids. So I got a habit and a reputation of going to schools and talking to kids about life, talking about staying out of trouble.
Got comfortable with that.
Yeah, got comfortable with that. So you take that experience, and once you become a lawyer, you still do those things because the community is important to you. So you do those things not because you have to, not because a coach told you to.
Standard.
You do it because it's a standard that you want to have. I have kids myself. So I would go into the schools where they were, not necessarily because I wanted to see those kids do better, but I want to see them do better because they were around my kids.
You were popping up on your kid. You went total old school with that one. Like you never know. Everybody should know that you have to pop up on your child at school at least one time in their life, just to let them know that there's always a looming threat of a parent showing up.
Well, I was doing it once a month.
And see, I was just saying it just once, just to put that fear that there's always somebody watching.
Right. And the good thing about that is that you develop a relationship with the teachers, with other kids, the administration, so that when you come there, you're coming there not because there's a problem. You're coming there because you want to let people know that you're interested. So you fast forward to the now. I go to classrooms. I'm in court every day, 5 days a week. If I'm in 5 schools, I've had a bad week because I get a chance to go out and use my time away from the bench to go to schools, talk to kids that are on my docket. And people have asked, are you doing this just because you're running for office? Right. No, and I tell you why. Because tomorrow, the election will be over. Tomorrow, I can sleep in. Tomorrow at 9 o'clock, I'll be at Fairdale Elementary talking to some kids about what it's like to be a judge.
No matter what.
No matter what. So I'm going to take a little time off for vacation because it's well-deserved because I've been running basically for a year.
Right.
But even when I'm not working, I'm working. I'm trying to figure out what I can do to make this community better, what I can do to help our future and our kids.
And this was before the judge.
And this is well before I became a judge. Now, people will say that you probably did this because you're running. No, I haven't been doing this before I'm running because at the end of the day, even if I'm not successful, that robe is not going to define me.
Right.
That robe never made me who I am today.
Right.
It helps me with other people, but the robe has never defined me, nor will it ever define me. I want to make sure that we're the best representations of ourselves. We want to make sure that our kids have a great and bright future. And if I have a robe on that can help them get to that point, that's what I'm going to use to help them get there.
Judge Derwin Webb, there is nothing more that I can add to that conversation. I hope everyone listened. I hope you enjoyed this interview. I hope you get out and vote. I myself am joining a caravan for people who have transportation difficulties. So we're going to make this an abbreviated show. We are going to get out of here. I'm sure Brian has something lined up for you for the rest of the show. Again, we always appreciate it. 8150-939 is always the number. 3831-939 is the text line. We are Made for the Ville, the YouTube channel. Thanks to all our partners. Thanks to Globe Auto. Thanks to Bill at Scorns & Sons Collision Center, Jill Blessinger, Becky Blamel. Windows Plus, all great partners. Thanks for tuning in Midday with Marcus Maven on 93.9 The Ville.
Hi, I'm Circuit Court Judge Derwin.